Well, good afternoon, everyone. David speaking. It's 20 past 5 here in the UK on Tuesday, the 10th of November, after a huge day yesterday. You've all read the reasons for it, I'm quite sure. And I think it precipitated the biggest rotation from momentum to value stocks that I've witnessed in the 40 years that I've been involved in markets. So it's market pulled back a little bit this morning, filled a gap. I'll show it in a second, and is now up. S&P up 5 points over last night's close. The advances, the guts of twice that of the declines, and every measure of the trend on VectorVest is up. If we have a look at the VectorVest Composite, an equally weighted index of all of the shares that we follow, you can see that that's the big day up yesterday. It opened, came down, closed this gap, and in fact is now moving up, and moving up quite nicely. That's quite a nice looking candle here. Market moved from a mega oversold area, and the buy sell ratio sitting at 2.36 as I speak, and that's still got a way to go. The mega overbought would be over 4 on that, so it's got still plenty of room to run there. If we have a look at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 again came back today and closed that gap. And there's also a trend line there as well, and now pushing up and pushing up quite strongly. So technically that looks just fine. Those of you that are technicians will know that in this triangular formation, this little bit should in fact be repeated on the upside. So I'm still looking forward to, I hope, a run into Christmas. So yesterday wasn't the best day for me. I managed to get out of, I had long positions that were well in the money, and of course they were in fact momentum orientated, and I managed to get rid of them all. As you know, the brokers and the market makers were closed. Apps for a slight profit, Roku at break even, Zoom for a small loss, well, and a reasonable caning in Quidel, which gapped down on me strongly. I was well in the money on Friday, but it gapped right down and got out of that. Thank goodness for position sizing, because I initially had a 1% risk on that trade if it had hit my stop loss, and I think I got stopped out. I haven't done the calculation in detail, but I think I got stopped out with nearly a 3% loss in that. So it's not the end of the world. And as my old mentor George Lane, the inventor of the stochastic, once said, the objective of trading is to have enough money to trade tomorrow, and position sizing will keep you alive. I think the old mantra is never risk any more than 1% on any one trade. It may seem naive, but nevertheless it'll keep you alive. Remember, the 1% is the difference in cash between the entry point and the stop loss, and that should never be any more than 1% of your account size. And gaps like this are not that common. They do occur, they're not that common, but if you do get a gap, it's going to be painful for a day or two, but it's certainly not going to take you out of the game. And with the run that we've had from April, well, we've made up that 3% many times over in the run from April. So a little bit of discipline will help me, that's for sure. So I'm happy with this, and I have a long position, actually intraday position, running on the index from 3530. We'll see how it goes. Now the gold price, clearly there was a big premium in the gold price. The gold price broke out. I did a seminar on Saturday afternoon for VectorVest Canada, and I told for everybody to wait for a pullback of that breakout to about 1902, and of course the market came back in style after the COVID vaccine announcement. Clearly there was a risk premium built into the gold price, and it came off from 1960 to 1860. That's a $100 move in what that's a 4-hour chart at 8 hours. Doing its best to move up here, but for the moment, after a move down like this, we have to assume that this is a counter trend rally until it in fact proves to the contrary. So just stay away from gold shares. I hadn't bought into any gold shares in this round. Stay away from gold shares for a little while. I have one spread bet running in NEM, and that's the only position that I've got running at the moment. I think that if we have a look at the companies that did well yesterday, for example, let's look at Disney. And what Vegas, MGM, and I think Cruise, Carnival. Cruise companies did well. The exchange traded fund for airlines did exceptionally well. Jets. So they're off today and they're all pulling back. I think it's worthwhile to look at them. As I say, this rotation from momentum to value happened in seconds. So there is Carnival, folks, and Carnival gapped through that trend line, and it's, let's see where it is now. It's pulling back a little bit. So let's see if we could get that at a better level, and clearly you'll have to judge as to whether this announcement by Pfizer makes any difference whatsoever. The market seems to think with the size of this move that it certainly does. They're all pretty much doing the same thing. That's MGM, okay, pulling back to, clearly that's a very important level at $24, and that's Disney. Disney, there's an old top. It's holding that old top, but certainly if it pulled back to 130, it would start to look very interesting indeed. So those are three shares that have really haven't done much, were beaten down by the virus, and in fact could do exceptionally well if the COVID virus goes away, or the COVID-19 goes away with the virus. So I'm going to do nothing. Those gaps are too big for me. As soon as you would buy here, about a nanosecond after I buy, I can guarantee that the gap would fill. So I'll sit and watch that. I'll sit and watch that. Quite a short video, folks, and I'm just going to sit and plot, and by the middle of the week I should have decided where I'm going to place some money on some spread bets. Just one running, that one on Newmont Mining. I can pull it up, I suppose. NEM. There we have it. And NEM. And that was the trade in NEM here. And that trade is still running. That trade is still running. Gap down on me yesterday, but couldn't get out. By the time I could get out, it was back above my entry again. My entry is somewhere down around here. Okay, so I'm still holding that one. We'll see how it goes. It's touch and go. We'll see how it goes. I like this pattern, I must, in Newmont Mining. So just remember, folks, position sizing will keep you alive. Thanks very much.